Hey everybody. So yeah, we're not spinning a wheel for this one. You're just gonna see footage right away of a thing that I've chosen to play. And the thing that I've chosen to play is BDSM, Big Drunk Satanic Massacre. And if that title does not tell you that, like, hey, not for the faint of heart, if you're someone who will be thrown by somewhat sexual references within the game, not by me, and playful Satanism. If playful Satanism is too much for you, then you are welcome to not be here for this one. So yeah, just letting you know that up front. But when I looked in on my channel today, you know, I was checking for comments because I like to answer people's comments because a lot of times people have very valid criticisms. Received a very valid criticism recently, which was that I need to get to the point quicker, which I am not doing currently. So yeah, valid criticisms, people. I appreciate it. So when I was checking my channel, not to see how many people have subscribed, but it showed me how many people subscribed, and it's 666. That means that I had to go out and buy a satanic game, and this was it. Because I had to buy this one because it is an isometric shooter, and I have been talking with other people on this channel. You know, someone who commented on my review of The Ascent recently, which I reviewed fairly recently, which is an isometric shooter in a similar vein as the Alien Breed series, which I love so very much. I love me some isometric shooters. I don't know what it is about a good isometric shooter. I don't know why I feel the way I do. It tickles me in a certain way, and I just like the way they feel. You know, I like the way, because I'm not always good at circle strafing in every type of shooting situation, but I'm really good at it for some reason in an isometric shooter. And so yeah, I can bust out those, you know, serious Sam moves in the isometric shooter. And so, like, yeah, I had to buy this game because it was an isometric shooter, and I wanted to know, is it a good one? Is it one that I will enjoy? And as I said up front, yeah, there is satanic content, as you have by no doubt noticed by this point. But also, this game is silly. It's a silly goose. And that's how I view Satanists, by the way. I kind of love the way that Satanists operate in the world. There's some silly gooses, like, for real. For real. I've never seen Satanists who were not silly gooses. And by the way, like, random fact about the world, we would have never made it to the moon if it weren't for Satanists and Scientologists. Well, L. Ron Hubbard, he wasn't a Scientologist yet, but he stole the wife of a Satanist, and that's how we got to the moon. Kind of. It is true. That is, you can fact check that. That's a part of history. It's weird, but it is true. Yeah, look into it. Satanism and L. Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology, and wife stealing, and NASA, and making it to the moon on the efforts of a man who was like, no, black magic is real. Yeah, true story. Anyway, back to the point, no faking. The person who made the very valid criticism that I don't always get to the point and stay on the point, valid, because now I'm going to talk about the game and the game itself, and we're 4.5 minutes in. So apologies. You know, part of how I set this channel up was that I was doing it just for me, and then people started enjoying what I was doing, and I was like, why? I'm just doing this for me. I'm just hitting play, and, like, honestly, like, I mean, I put it out there. I did make the videos public. That is true. But like, I make a lot of things public. I have like 17 blogs and like, I've written a book that no one's purchased. I put a lot of things out into the world that do not become public, or that are publicly available, but people do not consume. Because who consumes content in this day and age with so much content available? And so my early approaches to game reviews, not great. I just hit record and let it go. But some people really like my rambling style because everybody else is operating from a script. So many other people are doing it at the behest of the, the company that created the game, and when they do a Raid Shadow Legends plug at the beginning, you're like, oh boy. Believability compromised. Yeah, anyway, it just, you feel it and I feel it, and we know what that is. And so, like, my thing that I try to do is I always try and be as real as possible, as much as possible. And so, all of that said, let's talk about this freaking game. It is very fun. Super fun. It is very tightly controlled. I immediately, I had only played this for like 5-10 minutes when I was like, no, I can hit record. Like, I've got this. Like, I may not have unlocked every little game mechanic and ability that the character is going to have over the course of the game, but like, I've got this. Like, this feels familiar. And it's that thing where like sometimes you just want a game that knows how the genre is played. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's reinventing the wheel. Nobody's coming up with something that's like, oh, how is this done? Like, sometimes you want to just be able to pick up a game and automatically know how to play it. And in the world of shooters, that is one of the most common elements of the really good ones, are that you could just pick it up and just automatically know, like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, this is how I move. This is how I strafe. This is how I shoot. This is how I do secondary attacks. This is how I, charge my special, or whatever, other game elements there are. Like, you can just pick it up immediately. And so, yeah, this game, it felt so familiar. And one of the things that really helps with it feeling familiar is that it quotes things that people who are going to purchase a Satanic game like this will know. Like, dude, the main character is literally saying, he's literally doing quotes from, like Army of Darkness and stuff, quoting Ash from Army of Darkness. And it's like, that's my favorite movie of all time. I love Bruce Campbell. I am a Deadite through and through. Like, I have met the man and gotten his autograph. He insulted me to my face. And if you are a fan of the Evil Dead series, you know what that means. And so, like, to have a game that's quoting things like that at me while I'm playing it, it's like, oh, you understand your demographic. And I am part of that demographic. And if you are part of that demographic, you are going to hit the comments and be like, oh my God, I also love Army of Darkness. I also love Bruce Campbell. Like, all of these things. So, like, yeah, the game gets it. It gets it. So it's got the classic gameplay that you can just pick up automatically. It's got this great sense of humor about itself. The fact that you're like, literally running around in a tank top and your boxers, like you're yelling at people to get off your lawn, except you're like this archdemon of hell, you're literally the son of Satan, you know, going around trying to, because it has got a story. I'm not even going to explain to you what it is because it's kind of ridiculous and you have to see the cut scenes to really know what's going on. Now, I will say there is more sexual content than you're going to see in the gameplay footage that I've captured, because yeah, that's just that is unfortunately how it is. It is a very adult type game. And okay, and all of that said, it brings me to my one major complaint about the game. The one thing I will really complain about that was a real disappointment, but I don't know because I'm not playing in that mode. But you can play as the regular red demon, or you can play as the black demon. And if you play as the black demon, that character will use the N-word. And like, yeah, you know, like basically here's what I will say about that. Like, I just came from a place where a lot of white people all decided together, like, hey, we can say the N-word. And it's like, you can't, though. You can't. And I don't care how many black friends you have or how many hip-hop albums you own. Like, you have to understand the dynamics of, like, who can say that word, and like the ongoing debate within the community of people who can say that word and whether or not they choose to, and why those who say no, we shouldn't use that word, not even within our own community, if you hear them speak, then you realize like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have this word in society at all. I mean, I'm a big fan of Richard Pryor, and if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But when he came back from Africa, he just decided he wasn't going to use that word anymore. And I have always respected that choice that he made and the reasons why he made it. And so, like, yeah. Just understand, it's a complicated issue. And so for a game to be like, oh, you can, we're so irreverent, and we have a mode where you can play with the N-word in it, like, as a white man, I will not play that mode, and so I will never know. I will never know what that mode is all about. Because I refuse. Like, sorry, not gonna do it. And I'm kind of upset that that's even a thing. Unless, of course, I'm way out of line. It could be possible I'm way out of line. This could be, you know, from a black developer who was like, no, I made a game for my community or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know that that's the case or not, but like, I don't think it is. And also, I just... yeah, it gives me feelings. So despite everything else about this game that is good and fantastic and super fun, and just so well done, yeah, it's my one big hang up. Anyway, I'm gonna pause this. It will not seem but a moment to you, but I'm going to come back and put a final score on it. Okay, so final score-wise, we are going an 8 out of a possible 10 Hell's Satan patches. Hell's Satans. Sorry, plural. Yeah, because if you remember, if you watch The Simpsons, when Homer starts a motorcycle gang, they call themselves Hell's Satans, which... I don't know, is one of the most awesome names for a motorcycle group I have ever heard. So yeah, there you go. 8 out of the possible 10 Hell's Satans patches. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. It was really good. loved so many aspects of it. It just seems like one thing that I should mention that is holding a point back on this for me. I do have to say this. This game needs a, like, big name heavy metal sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you're gonna have this game and not have, like, I don't know, pick someone. Like, the Ronnie James Dio estate? Are they looking to, cash in on his awesomeness? I love me some Dio. He's the greatest heavy metal singer ever. I mean that. I truly mean that. I mean, no one else is a better heavy metal singer. I will live and die by that statement. I love Dio. Anyway, but, like, honestly, get like Slayer, get, Rob Zombie. I mean, come on. Like, somebody out there who is metal and is, like, down with being the soundtrack of a game like this. Like, there's gotta be someone who is like, yeah, totally, we'll absolutely slap our name on this and re-release it as a special edition with our music and the soundtrack. I would buy this game again if it had a massive heavy metal soundtrack. As it stands, it's got a moderately okay, somewhat rockin' soundtrack of a generic variety. A big name heavy metal sponsorship would put this over the freaking top. Then take out the N-word. But that's just me. Anyway, so yeah, people, that's going to do it for this one. Sorry, I am trying to keep these closer to 10 minutes and farther from 20. But, we do ramble sometimes. Anyway, thanks for everybody who has joined the channel lately. There's been, a small trickle. Normally I see a larger trickle in and then a somewhat large trickle out. I'm okay with, like, just a small trickle in if everybody's just like, okay, cool, I get what this channel is. And we're all just happy with each other as we are. I am working to make improvements. I am working on doing some different things, just for my benefit as much as anybody else's. But, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being supportive. And hope you enjoyed this. I don't intend to step on anybody's toes. If anybody's, like, super religious and is super offended by the very existence of this, I'm sorry. You couldn't have known that unless you made it this far in and heard me say that. But, like, whatever. Thus far, everybody in the channel has been cool and has just understood kind of what we're here for. We're here for good, fun, cheap games. And this one, currently on sale, didn't cost me that much. So if you like me, like a good isometric shooter, here's a fun one. Anyway, thanks, people, and we will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.